Hey, Facebook Live. Sorry I'm a few minutes starting for those who were expecting me to start at 3 o'clock, but I had my mom and sister and niece stop over, so I'm starting a little late. But listen, I want to talk about some things from my book. So today, a part of the message is going to come from my chapter 7. So those tuning in, this is my book, Rise Up, Shine On. I put a red mark so I would know that this is my copy. But every chapter in my book, I have a quote that resonates with me or that chapter or something like that. So if you're tuning in, let me know you're here. Comment below your favorite emoji. Comment below and say hi. Let me know what you're doing on this beautiful day. I know not everybody's from Maryland, so I know it's beautiful out here today, but tomorrow is supposed to be snow. That's Maryland weather for you. But let me know, where are you watching from? What are you doing? I love to see later everybody popping in. So listen, today's chapter is chapter 7. And chapter 7, I was in 4th grade. So 4th grade in this chapter, and the title of it, the quote for it is, "It is during our darkest moment that we must focus to see the light." So a lot of people are like, what does that mean? In this chapter, it was a punishment I had, and a pretty severe punishment. And hi everybody, I was looking to see what everybody was saying. So it was a pretty severe punishment in this chapter, and one that some people would probably catch some criminal charges for, but you know, I endured it. But anyway, this chapter has a lot of light in it. So in this very dark time in this chapter, there's different glimpses of light. And so I'm going to read a part of it in a minute, but what I want you guys to, I'm going to give you a message to take away with it. But I always want you to know that there's always little glimpses of light, that if you focus on that versus the darkness, you're going to be in such a better place. So in this very dark time that you're going to hear about in my story, and only a little part, there was a lot of people who were like, I called them my angels of light. And sometimes you're going to find those. There are going to be people in your life that are your little angels of light. So in this chapter, you're going to see little angels of light, including somebody very special to me. You're not going to hear about her today. You'd have to read the book. But my 4th grade teacher was one of those angels of light when I was younger, and especially in this very dark time that this book talks about. So in this chapter, not only does it talk about a very dark moment in my life, it also has a ray of sunshine and a ray of light. And it was always little glimpses of light throughout my life that helped me continue to go on and helped continue to, you know, realize that I'm worth more than what maybe somebody's telling me I'm worth. And so those people are huge in my life. And you know, my teacher last year when I wrote this book, well, I guess 8 months ago when I launched it, a lot of you guys have been following, and I have been wanting to find my 4th grade teacher forever. So my 4th grade teacher, she went above and beyond as a teacher, and it's her that made me want to become a teacher. And so I did become a teacher. And how ironic that I became a 4th grade teacher, just like she was. So my first job that I accepted was a 4th grade position, just the same grade that Miss Wicks was in this story. And so through a lot of help, somebody helped me find Miss Wicks, like her address, all that stuff. I sent her a book. I sent her a letter. And I wish I would have gotten the tracking on it. I didn't. And I never heard back. Never heard back. So she's local. She's probably her house is about 15 minutes away. I've never done a drive-by. I'm not that girl. I don't want to stalk her. But I would love for my 4th grade teacher, Miss Wicks, to know that she changed my life. When I was a child, she was that one ray of light that helped me realize how amazing the world could be. And she was that ray of sunshine that let me see that not all people are bad and evil. And I don't have a bad life. I'm just having a bad moment. And I love her. I wish I could find her one day and meet her. I might send her another letter in a book. In my head, I'm like, well, maybe she didn't get it. Maybe the mail didn't deliver it. I can't imagine, being a teacher myself for all those years, if a student would have reached out to me years later and said, here's my book, you're in it, and here's how you've changed my life. I would love to hear back from you. I can't imagine ignoring that student ever. So in my brain, I'm just saying that maybe she didn't get the letter. I don't know. So comment below one if you've ever had a teacher in your lifetime that you remember, like a good teacher, not a bad teacher. We all have those too, but comment below number one if you've ever had that one teacher that is so memorable to you, even years later now. I love to think that, being an educator myself and being, a teacher for 6 years, that we do change lives and we do inspire people. And we do leave lasting memories in children's lives. So I would love to hear. So comment below one if you've ever had a teacher that you still remember to this day that has made a lasting impact in your life. So Miss Wicks, if you ever find this video, you've changed my life. I would love for you to know that, and I might reach out to you again and try to send book number 2, letter number 2, this time with tracking, and see if she actually gets it. I don't know. So if anybody knows Miss Wicks, I would love that hookup. Okay, so we're going to read chapter 7, and then I'm going to give a message that I hold dearly to my heart to you guys, so that way you guys can rise up and shine on in your own life and have some motivation, okay? All right, so chapter 7, it's a long one. Chapter 7 actually opens up the preface of my book too. So those who get my book and you're reading the preface, it comes from chapter 7. So I'm going to read the preface to you, okay? All right. The wooden steps creaked beneath her as she shifted her small frame. She could feel the ridges of the planks through her thin summer clothes as she leaned forward to hug her legs. Her gaunt frame folded onto itself as she curled forward into a ball. There she sat, alone in the dark. There was nowhere to look. The basement was one giant concrete room. No lights, no windows. She had already been down there for hours, waiting for the call from her father that would mean her release. Suddenly, the routine noises from the familiar upstairs quieted as a heavy door slammed closed. In that same moment, she turned hopefully to the door at the top of the stairs, the door that blocked her from daylight, from other humans, and from freedom, was still solidly closed. It firmly stood over her, blocking out almost all light and connection. Except for one small line of yellow. There was a complete darkness except for the slight gap between the bottom of the door and the kitchen tile. In that space, some late morning sunshine reflected off the ceramic floor and announced itself confidently, even though it was such a narrow space. That light was so warm and gentle as she decided to unfold herself, and then, for several minutes, she actually considered moving out of the darkness. She finally allowed herself to stretch out and turn towards the light that offered at the top of the unfinished stairs. And then it happened. She decided to risk leaving her assigned place to get closer to the light, to allow it to soothe her. She turned her back to the darkness and focused on what lay ahead. Slowly, she put one hand, then another, on the steps in front of her. One at a time, she crawled upwards. She knew which wooden planks creaked and avoided them carefully so she wouldn't make a sound. A smile started to form on her face as she realized the light above had warmth as well. It beckoned her as she got closer and closer still. The light cheered her on lovingly until she finally rested on her chin on the top step. It was the most comfort she had felt in hours. The slice of light offered itself without rules, threats, or consequence. She felt at peace, knowing that she could still find unconditional goodness, even as lonely darkness surrounded her. It has to get better, she thought to herself. Just wait, a voice whispered in her mind. Leanne smiled slightly. She could wait. So, comment below at number 2 if in your life you've ever had a really hard type of punishment in your life that you still remember to this day. Like a significant, severe punishment for something you've done in your life, and it still has memories in your brain. So comment below it too, because I feel like so many people have stories to tell and they just never even tell them. They just push them under the rug like they didn't even happen. So you have to read this chapter to find out what I'm reading and what it's all about. Yes, it's a true story. But I want to talk to you. As a child, there was this one person that just kept telling me I couldn't do it. I wasn't going to amount to anything. I was going to be a hamburger flipper my whole life. You're ugly, and, this and that, and you're going to become just like your mother. You're going to be a prostitute. You're going to be a drug addict. And just every negative thing that you could think to tell a child, that's what I was told. But then there was these amazing people in my life, like Miss Wicks, who told me that you are better than that. You're worth more. There was people like my grandma who would come in, even though she wasn't allowed too much in my life. But when she was allowed in there, I just felt like I could do anything. Like she was my cheerleader. There was people like, my mom, my real mom, who comes back in this chapter. And she only looks at me through the Sunday school glass because, I was not allowed to see her. So looking up from the Bible and looking up at her through the glass, it just, it puts a smile on my face in a really dark time. And in that grade, I also I was baptized and I became a Christian. And just knowing and having that strong belief that even though you can't always see the people, there's people cheering you on. There's really good people who are going to be there your entire life, even if they're not always visible. So I just want you to know that if you're in a dark place, think about the people who are truly there and want to see you succeed and do better. Okay? Because I had those people too. So there's always somebody that you can find that loves you when you're feeling in your darkest moments. So here's what I want to leave you guys. I want to tell you guys. If you believe in yourself, or that your situation's going to get better, that's all that matters. If you believe it. If nobody else believes that you can do anything except you, guess what? That's all the validation you need. So I think a lot of people look around when they start a new business, or when they're making a career change, or they're making a big life decision, or, they're making a change in their life and they're looking for validation. Or is somebody going to, think that I can do it? As long as you believe that you can do it, that is the only validation you ever need. And sometimes there's going to be days that you are going to be your own cheerleader. And I want you to be comfortable with being your own cheerleader, okay? So I want you to comment below 3 if you have ever had a dream or want to do something and somebody has talked you down from it. Somebody said you're not going to be good at this. Somebody has said that's not a good idea. I want you to comment below at number 3. I know I cannot be alone in this. So as long as you believe it, don't look for any other validation. That's all you need, okay? I want you to remember the negative people in your life. Birds of a feather flock together. Choose your flock wisely, okay? So if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, eventually you will become negative. You will become whatever they're telling you. So birds of a feather flock together. If you want to be around that negativity, then fly with that flock. But if you want to be different, be an eagle. Soar above them. Go be your own flock. Choose your flock very wisely of the people you're surrounding yourself with. It is super, super important. Comment below at number 4 if you know somebody in your life right now that no matter what, every time you talk to them, it's something negative. Their life is horrible. This happened to them. That happened to them. Life is just awful. I know there's got to be those negative people that are always complaining, always saying something is bad. Comment below at number 4 if you know somebody in your life that is like negative Nancy. Those are the people you avoid in your life. Avoid them. Do not be one of those people that fly with that flock, okay? Next thing I want you to know. When you put your mind to something, if you want to make a change in your life, if you want to do something that nobody else believes in, okay? If you're in a place right now, a crossroads, where you're not really sure of something, I want you to ask yourselves a question. Who are you, okay? Who are you as a person? Who do you want to become? If it is somebody better, what has to change for you to be that person that you want to become, okay? It starts with believing in yourself. And as a small child, I learned this very early on. Believe in yourself, even if you're the only one believing, okay? I want you to be strong, because on bad days, which there's always going to be bad days, you have to remember to not sink down into that negativity. Rise up and literally be your own hero. On the days that you feel like don't getting out of bed, on the days you feel like it can't get any worse, guess what? Here's what I want you to know. You have 100% survived all the days in your life so far that you thought it can't get worse. You have 100% survived every time that you thought life is bad. Can this really be happening? My world is crumbling down. You're alive and you've survived. You're a survivor then. So thrive, okay? Make sure that you're not playing the victim. You're choosing to be the victor. And that is what heroes do. You're going to be the hero of your own life. You're going to be the hero of your own story. So sometimes you just have to literally be your own hero in life on your bad days, because that's what's going to be accomplishment, like such an accomplishment for you. I want you to comment below a 5 if you ever had a moment in your life that you thought literally, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. Like, I don't know how I can move on. Whether it's when we were younger and we went through a breakup, whether it was a death in our family, whether it was an illness, whether it was something awful and emotional that's happened to you. Maybe it was physical, like I went through. I want you to comment below a 5 if you ever had that moment, like, it cannot get any worse than this. Because in those moments, you're being tested. And for those who are a believer, God never gives you anything you can't handle. He will let you bend, but remember, he will never let you break. So you are alive and you have survived 100% of everything that has come your way, which means you are more than capable of surviving anything else that comes your way, okay? I want you to always acknowledge your angels. And what I mean by that are angels and sprinkles of people that have come into your life. And I want you to always be thankful for those people who have come into your life, even if they, whatever the reason is they came into your life, even if it was only for a season. There are people in your life that have been your savior, your ray of sunshine, somebody who has just rooted you on and cheered you on, somebody who's given you a hug when you need a hug, somebody who makes you just feel better about your day. There are people in your life, and those are your angels. Whether they're friends, whether they're spirits, whatever they are, those are your angels. And I want you to be thankful for those angels. How many times has somebody come into your life, even if it was only for a season, like Miss Wicks was, only for a part of my life? She's not in it now, but you know what? At that moment, I needed her. And nothing's a coincidence in life. And at that specific time, God gave me that angel. And she was my angel at that moment. When I needed my grandma, she was my angel at that moment. When some days it's my daughter that's my angel if I'm having a bad day. And I just look at her and that's my angel. And that's why I know that I'm moving on and I can overcome anything. So I want you to comment below a 6 if you have somebody in your life, whether they're gone now, they were only in your life for a season, that has been an angel when you've needed them to be. Whether it's just an ear to listen to, a hug, I love you, just a look across the room. Comment below if you've ever experienced one of those angels in your life that you're like, thank God you're in my life. So I want you to always recognize we always have angels around us. So comment below a 6 if you've ever had one of those people. All right. Here's the other thing. I've had a lot of stuff that's happened in my life, just as I'm sure so many of you have had so many things that you've had, and just a lot of people have not shared their story. But here's what I want you to know. It does not matter what has happened to you. It does not matter about your past. What matters is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? You know what you're going to do? You're going to rise up and you're going to shine on, because you're worth it. You are worthy of greatness. You are worthy of being better than you think you are. You are worthy of happiness. So what I want you to know is always choose to be the victor, not the victim. Okay? And one of the last things I want to leave with you is, a lot of people, say that their past holds them back from, whether it is, a very hurtful past they've had, their fears hold them back. things in their life has held them back from happiness and making really strong decisions in their life. What I want you to know is your past is a reflection. And what that reflection is, it's a reflection of your growth and your strength to get you to where you are today. Don't ever be ashamed of your past. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Don't ever be ashamed of your past. Your past has given you the stepping stones to be who you are today. It is a reflection of everything you've gone through. It's a reflection of your growth. It's a reflection of your strength. It's a reflection of you to know how badass you are. So I want you to always be proud of your past. Whether it is an ugly one, a dark one, a happy one, guess what? That past got you to where you are today. And if you don't like the person you are today, change it. Everybody is literally 5 seconds away from something different. Change it. You have that power. Nobody else can hold that power but you. You hold the pen to your future. You sometimes just got to put your big girl panties on and do it. Okay? So Les Brown, love that man. He said, life is like an onion and you got to peel it back layer by layer. And there's going to be times, sometimes when you get to a layer of that onion, it's going to make you cry, just like peeling an onion, just like life. There's going to be bumps in your road all the time. The successful people you look up to don't think we don't have bumps. We have bumps. We've had probably more bumps than some of the people who aren't as successful. We've learned how to maneuver ourselves, how to count the blessings. It's just one more layer onto, to peel back on the onion. Give it at me, life. So think of life as an onion. And I want you to start peeling it back layer by layer, even if it makes you cry. Have those moments of crying. Have those, times that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. Those times oh my gosh. Comment below a 7 if you ever peeled an onion before and it makes you pour at your eyes. Has anybody had like the most potent onion ever and you're cutting it and dicing it and you're literally crying your eyes out? Right? You're like, Madison's walked in a room and I've got like mascara down my face and I'm like sniffling. Has everybody ever had the moment where you're like, this is the worst onion ever? That's life. Life is your onion and you're going to peel it back layer by layer. And you know what? There's going to be times that layer is going to make you cry and you're going to be wiping it away saying, I can't do this right now. That's okay. Go back to that onion, finish what you started. That's the game called life, guys. Okay? You can do it. You can do it. Okay? So I want to leave you with, if you want my book, that was chapter 7 you heard a piece from today. It's designingthelifeyoulove.com. Okay? If you go to www.designingthelifeyoulove.com, there's a purchase tab at the top. You can get it. I will sign you a little love note on the inside and I will mail it to you. Okay? So I hope you guys had a nice little message today and realize how amazing you are, to acknowledge the angels in your life and that you're worth it. And even if you're the only one believing in yourself, that's all you need. Don't look for validation anywhere else. So go make all your dreams happen, guys. I love you guys. Until next week, talk to you later.